So this is the promise I have for myself. This is the thing that I think finally clicked. I was sitting by myself in a crowded room with my head in my palms and tears in my eyes, and all of a sudden a voice whispered, what some might call intuition, said to me, not verbatim, but along the lines of stop second guessing. This is the thing that I have been doing for years. This is the thing that has taken over my mind. The mental stress of what people will think, the mental stress of being wrong, of doubting my own ability and clarity. What I heard was true. What I heard was giving me the clues to fight through the fog. What I heard was showing me that underneath the noise of your mind is the truth. And the truth doesn't come with 100% clarity. The truth doesn't come with everything lined up. It's impossible. What it does say is I can try. What it does say is one thing leads to another, and so there is no shame in starting. Starting shouldn't be a place filled with fear, but instead a place of possibility. Doesn't matter if I try and get it wrong. Doesn't matter if I do and mess it up. I'm trying. And in the process of trying, I'm learning. In the process of trying, I'm getting closer. Some of us need to start trying again. Some of us need to stop believing those lies.
I have always wanted to go to this small little town called Santa Teresa in Costa Rica, and I actually made the trip happen last year. I ended up doing a whole tour of Costa Rica, kind of. We started in the north side of it in La Fortuna and then made our way down to this small little village island called Santa Teresa, and that is where I took most of the photos that I have in here. It is an intention that I have set out for myself. Any trip that I go on, I bring a roll of film so that I can take pictures, and I don't know, there's something about taking pictures on film that makes it so much more fun compared to like your iPhone, because it takes away the pressure of things being perfect, and the focus then just becomes capturing the essence of the moment. And that's essentially what like pictures are for. But I mean, we always have our iPhone, and so we're always trying to make things aesthetic, but with a film camera you're forced to just capture the feeling of whatever it is you're trying to capture. And so that's what I do when I'm on vacation. My goal, I think, is to have like photo album books that kind of work in the same regard as a coffee table book, but with my memories and with my photos and the places and faces that I love and bring happy feelings to me. So good morning, guys. It's like blizzardly cold right now, and I'm trying to push through the winter. I'm trying to not have this like hatred for the winter, but man, is today making it hard. It's not snowing so bad, but it's snowing and it's cold. So I have this kind of vest. I'm obsessed with vests, if you couldn't already tell, with this cotton shirt. And I've got these really nice shoes that I've been wearing lately. They're kind of like flats. Super casual, but kind of cute. Usually when I go on vacation, I come out with a big lesson, or I leave the trip feeling like super inspired and like have this grand lesson that I learn about life, about myself, about the world. But when I went to Costa Rica and experienced this 1-week surf camp, I think the main thing that I learned, and it wasn't as grand as I thought it would be, it wasn't as grand as the other things I learned in my life, but the main thing that I learned is to rest. And I learned that different people rest in different ways, and the way that I rest, the way that I fill my cup back up again, is through keeping myself busy, through activities. I feel good about myself when I'm learning. I feel good about myself when I'm pushing my body on a physical level or learning a new skill, when I'm being physically active. That's when I feel full. And so this vacation really taught me that
different people have different versions of rest, and I don't have to kind of feel bad about the way that I pour into myself, the way that I fill my cup up. It's just me, and that's just what makes me me, and I can find a way that I can incorporate what works for me into my life. And so moving forward, I was saying that on my next vacations, like, I want to do a vacation where I'm maybe going to a surf camp, going to some type of camp, something where I can learn or have, you know, a kind of an incentive for the trip. And the way that I think I'm going to do that is by bringing a film camera everywhere I go on vacation, and kind of creating like this, like having sort of like creative projects to do while I'm on vacations or while I'm in a new city. That for me is relaxation. When my mind is stimulated, as weird as that sound, I don't know if anyone can relate, but like, as weird as that sound, when my mind is stimulated, I'm relaxing. When my mind is stimulated, I feel good. I have that like dopamine, serotonin, just happy feeling when I'm doing things, when I'm applying myself. And so yeah, that is just what this trip taught me, is like, my version of rest might not look like everyone else's version of rest, and I don't have to feel bad about that. I can just work with me and work with the things that I need in my life, and, you know, not have to feel so bad about that. I went to La Puente in Costa Rica, Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, and it was a great time, honestly. It's kind of a hostel style, so just be aware that you share a room with other people, or you could get a private room. And it was just great. We really learned how to surf. Like, I could confidently go into the water and surf on my own. I would feel confident doing so. And you're provided 3 meals. I think it was like 2 meals a day. And you're also surrounded by other travelers, and so you have like that social aspect. You're kept busy, you're fed, you're not, you know, completely isolated like sometimes you could be if you were traveling alone. And so I would definitely recommend La Puente Surf Camp. 10 out of 10. I just remember being in that water and like floating and looking up and just thinking about life and thinking about, you know, how grateful I was to be in a totally different country. How, you know, being and traveling in a different country, in a totally different landscape, like beach, where I'm from, we don't have beaches like this. Being in those spaces really allows you to practice gratitude in a way that is so undeniably visible. It's like, I am so grateful to be here, because where I come from looks nothing like this, and I have such a luxury. Like, my life is so blessed. I'm so blessed that I can get away from my life for a week, 2 weeks, and call it vacation, and be in this place that is inspiring me, that is filling me, that is allowing me to rest. Like, not everybody gets to do that. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, that I am here. You know, sometimes we forget about the things that we have, and we forget about the things that we've been blessed with, like these little things that we just take for granted. And so being in this quiet space that is just breathtakingly beautiful just reminded me and grounded me that, you know, even through the tough times, even through the difficulties that I have, I'm still so blessed. Oh my God, I could write a list of all the things that I'm grateful for, and man, would that list be hefty. That would be a long list, because there's so much that I could be grateful for, that I am grateful for, and that I should remember and remind myself to be grateful for. So, man, that was a super introspective lesson. And then these photos are just me in the villa, me, my cousin, my sister, just in our villa. This villa was absolutely beautiful. There was monkeys all over the jungle. You couldn't see them, but you could hear them. They would be howling and just making their little monkey sounds. And it was just, honestly, it was great. So this is the plane that we took to get to Santa Teresa. And like I said, it's a small town. There's just this, I think it's like 8-seater plane that you have to take. You could bus over there, but it was like an 8-hour bus ride. We decided to take this 30-minute flight that wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $90, which comparative to the bus was like $60. So it was a little more expensive, but I mean, worth it. I've never been on a plane this small. Where I was sitting, I could literally see the pilot, and it felt like, I mean, obviously I wasn't driving the plane or flying the plane, but it felt like I could have been. I was right there. So that in itself was like an experience of its own. And I always thought that I was afraid of planes and afraid of flying, which I kind of am. Like, I get nervous in planes, but this experience taught me that, like,
you know, I'm not really afraid. Like, I don't have a fear of flying. I always say that I do, and I always say that I'm afraid of heights. But I mean, I went on this 8-seater plane. I survived. I always get nervous when taking off and landing, because I'm like, I feel like those are the times when things could go wrong. Like, if we don't land properly, it's like, oh my God. And if we take off but don't really take off, and it's also like me thinking about taking off, I'm like, wait, how is this plane, like, we were just on the ground and now we're flying? Anyways, that's my rant about planes. But I realized that I don't actually have a fear of flying, because I was fine. I was completely fine. I was a little nervous, but I was fine. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The entire town of Santa Teresa is one street, and it's like the strip of restaurants, banks, grocery stores, anything that you would need in a town is on that one strip, and that one strip makes the entire town. And then on the other side is the coast, like where the beach is and where we did our surf lessons and where people just surf casually. And so this is just a photo that I snapped of Santa Teresa, the strip that we would walk on every day. You could walk from one side to the other in like maybe 30-40 minutes. And what I loved so much about this town was that it's kind of on the come up. It's kind of like, I don't want to say that it hasn't been touched, because there's obviously a lot of foreigners like me coming to visit, but it's still in that beginning phase where the roads aren't even fully, you know, they're not paved. It's all dirt roads. It's bumpy. It's there is no road. It's just raw dirt, right? Other people might find that annoying and think that like, why would I come to this town that's like not even, it hasn't even been, there's not even roads, there's not even paved roads. But for me, that is what I crave. Like, I crave like the naturalness of a landscape. I crave almost struggling a little bit. I know it sounds like I'm like this privileged kid that wants to go back in time to feel what struggle is. But when I'm in those moments, it just reminds me that life is not that bad. Like, the things that I like stress about, they're not that bad. Like, there's so many bigger things to worry about. And when you have to, you know, drive and walk through a road that isn't even paved, that you're like bouncing and worried, like, is my car gonna get stuck? Am I gonna lose a shoe? Like, am I gonna make it to the cafe for breakfast? Cause like, you know, it's rainy, it's muddy, like, you know what I mean? It just grounds you and makes you feel more present, I feel like. So anyways, I wanted to share that because it was one of my favorite things about the town, was like how untouched, how raw and natural everything was. That was my Costa Rica travels. I hope to be going on a vacation soon, but this time I'll be going to Europe, Spain, and I'm planning to do that in March. So hopefully I'm gonna start planning it soon, not just yet, because there's still some things that are in the works. And maybe if I'm in Spain, I'll also go to Morocco, since it's like a ferry ride away. But those are my travel plans for this year. And yeah, we'll see what else I get up to. I'm definitely in the mood to explore Europe. Like, this past summer, I also went to Paris, and there was nothing in my body or in my bones that ever wanted to see France or Paris. Like, not that I have anything against it, but like, I didn't have an interest for it. There was nothing that called me. But after I went to Paris, I will honestly say that I like fell in love with the city. It was so beautiful. The vibe, the people, it was just like heavenly. And so that trip taught me that I definitely want to explore more of Europe. The architecture in Paris is like, everywhere you go in Paris is covered and dripping in art. Like, from the basic things that you see, the way that the road is set up, the way that the buildings are, it's like everything is dripping in art. And I just found that so inspiring, that a whole entire city, you know, usually you go to a city and there's one street that is, you know, the street of art or the street of architecture or the creative sector of the city, but the entire city was dripping in this like beauty and art. And you could tell that there was like, I don't know, there was just something in the air that I really enjoyed. And so I definitely want to explore more of Europe. I want to say I want to go back to Paris, but I've already been there, so let me go explore the rest of it. But yeah, those are my travel plans. And yeah, I just wanted to share. So thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do. I feel like a YouTuber right now because it's like, I don't know how to end the video. And so I'm just gonna tell you to like, comment, subscribe. And like, I mean it, but also I don't know how to end this video. So it's like awkward right now. And now I'm just like thinking out loud. But anyways, I'll see you in another video. And this one's coming from my heart. I really do love you. Like, I love you and I appreciate you for being here. And yeah, I'll see you in another video. Peace, love, and bye for now.